video, we're ranking the top 10 NHL rookies for the 17-18 season. And that's coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Alright, so as I mentioned, today we're ranking the top 10 NHL rookies for the current 17-18 NHL season. So just a little disclosure, this is completely subjective. This is strictly my opinion based on all these rookies' performances. So I've gone ahead to rank them 1 through 10. We're also going to do a few honorable mentions just because there are so many great rookies this year. I'm going to mention a few off the top that I think deserve a little bit of recognition, but unfortunately did not crack my top 10 list. So certainly feel free to leave lots of comments and debate down in the comment section. If there's any rookies that you think should be ranked differently, or if anybody didn't make this list that you feel should, certainly feel free to throw in your comments down below and we can talk about it down there. So let's get started here. So first of all, with the honorable mentions, I want to mention Alex Kerfoot out of Colorado. He scored 15 goals this year. He's having a tremendous season for the Avalanche, and certainly has been a big part of their resurgence to be a more respectable team this year. I also want to mention Jake DeBrusk in the Boston Bruins, who scored 11 goals and has 29 points, and he's been a big part of the Bruins' resurgence as well. A lot of the teams that we've seen this year kind of bounce back and pull way ahead further than we expected. Like we're talking about the Bruins, the Devils, the Avalanche, just to name some good examples. Those are teams that, didn't necessarily do, like Colorado and New Jersey, for example, did really poorly last year and have drastically improved in large part because of their rookies. I mean, Boston didn't have a terrible season, but they've improved substantially year over year, and their young guns certainly played a big role in that resurgence for sure. So rookies have played a tremendous role this year in a lot of NHL teams. One other player I want to mention as well as an honorable mention is New Jersey forward Jesper Bratt. He has 33 points so far as well. So when these guys are being honorable mentions and are not making the top 10, it goes to show just how well stocked the rookie class this year has been for the NHL rookies. So there's all kinds of great stories so far. And at the end of the video, so stay tuned, make sure you watch the whole video. I will give you my predictions for the Calder Trophy, who will be the 3 finalists, and I will predict the winner based on who I think should win. So stay tuned for that towards the end. So as of now, we're going to start at number 10, work our way up the ladder till we get to number 1. So let's jump in. The number 10 ranked rookie I have is Boston forward Danton Heinen, who's, like as I mentioned, along with guys like Jake DeBrusk and others, have played a tremendous role in the Bruins being a top team in the Atlantic Division. He has 38 points in 52 games and is a plus 11. He's got 11 power play points and is averaging just over 15 minutes per game. So he's certainly playing a pretty big role on a fairly deep Bruins team. So he's certainly had a tremendous rookie season so far. So good for him. Number 9, we've got Mikhail Sergachev of the Tampa Bay Lightning, who earlier this season would have been ranked probably number 2, 3, or 4 in this list. He certainly has slipped a little bit, but he's still having a very good rookie campaign. He did get sat out a couple of times by the Lightning due to some defensive mishaps, but that's bound to happen with a lot of times, especially with the younger offensive-minded defensemen. But he's certainly still having a tremendous season, and we want to recognize him. So at number 9, he's got 31 points in 57 games. He's a plus 8, averaging over 16 minutes a game, and has 13 power play points. So he certainly gets a lot of power play time, being the offensive gifted defenseman he is, and he's having a tremendous season in Tampa. So great season for Sergachev so far. Number 8, we've got number 1 draft choice from last summer, New Jersey Devils forward Nico Hischier. Hischier was just named Player of the Week this past week as well, and it seems like as the season has gone on, he's steadily improving week after week after week. So far this year, he's at 39 points in 59 games. He's a plus 7 and has scored a couple of game-winning goals. He sits second on Devils in team scoring behind Taylor Hall, although there is a big gap between Hall and Hischier. Hischier has proven to be a very valuable asset for the Devils this year and certainly has a bright future ahead of him beyond this year for sure. So great rookie season for Nico Hischier. Number 7, we've got the Arizona Coyotes star Clayton Keller. At the beginning of the season, it looked like Clayton Keller was going to run away with the Calder Trophy. He was off to a blazing start with his goal-scoring prowess. He certainly has cooled down and slowed off a little bit and leveled things out, but he's still having a tremendous season. Keller has 17 goals and 44 points He's a minus 14 though, but that's not, you can't blame it all on him. He's on a really challenged defensively team, especially. Coyotes obviously having a bad season, so you can't put all that on Keller. But he also had 3 game-winning goals and 2 overtime goals. So Keller has proven to be clutch for the Coyotes and certainly is one of the bright spots on that team going forward. So even though he was off to a blazing start, he certainly cooled down, but he's still having a great season overall and certainly deserves some recognition in the Calder conversation. Next up, we have Alex DeBrincat at number 6, the Chicago Blackhawks, having a tremendous season. DeBrincat has a whopping 22 goals, 39 points over 59 games. DeBrincat also has 10 power play points and has a game winner as well to his name. So DeBrincat has certainly proven to be a great piece for the Hawks this year on a team that's certainly been challenged. It looks like they may miss the postseason for the first time in about a decade, but DeBrincat certainly gives them a lot of optimism moving forward. Next up on our list at number 5, we got Kyle Connor of the Winnipeg Jets, who certainly came as a bit of a surprise. Has been a bit of a second half superstar here. He's been scoring on a much faster pace as time has gone on throughout the season here. He now has 21 goals, 38 points, and is a +5 over 53 games for the Jets and has 3 game-winning goals in there. So he's been a very, very pleasant surprise for the Winnipeg team, who has certainly proven that they can contend in that tough Central Division and in the tough Western Conference. Certainly going to have Winnipeg in the Stanley Cup contender conversation this year. And Kyle Connor has proven to be a big part of that, especially in the second half of the year. Moving up the list here, we're going to go to number 4 with his Tampa Bay forward, Yanni Gourde. Gourde is quite a story. He has 22 goals, 22 assists, and 44 points over a 59-game span. Is a +24, and he has 5 game-winning goals. So Yanni Gourde certainly deserves to be in that Calder conversation as well. The +24, as much as I want to give him credit, he's on a very solid Tampa Bay team who is very stingy, giving up a lot of goals. So obviously his team play certainly helps out plus-minus. And plus-minus, as we've talked about here before, is one of those stats that sometimes you can't put a lot of stock into. But it certainly shows in his case, though, that he's doing a great job at both ends of the ice. Number 3, we've got Charlie McAvoy, the star defenseman for the Boston Bruins. McAvoy has 26 points over 52 games and is a +21, playing over 22 minutes a game. So he's been an absolute stud for the Bruins this year. Deserves lots of recognition, and I certainly foresee him having a very bright future and being the anchor of the Bruins decor for many years to come. Number 2, we've got Brock Boeser of the Vancouver Canucks, who's leading in goals with 27, has 49 points over 55 games, has 4 game-winning goals, and has all kinds of power play time, notching 22 power play points. So Boeser has been an absolute beast for Vancouver, has a very bright future, but in my opinion, he's only been the 2nd best rookie this year, although albeit a close second. I have to give the number 1 spot as the top rookie this year to Matt Barzal of the New York Islanders, who is an absolute dynamic player. 62 points over 60 games, 19 power play points, playing over 17 minutes a game. Matt Barzal has been a real treat to watch this year. He's had a couple of games where he's had 5 points, and it's just an absolute treat to watch this offensively gifted player. And he's proven that, you know, between him and Tavares, 1-2 up the middle for the Islanders, there's certainly a lethal combo. And now, because of Tavares, he is not necessarily seeing all the top defensemen all the time, but on any given night, you could rival that his line is doing just as well as Tavares. So it's tough. He does see more top defenders than he may sometimes get credit for. He's not getting bottom pair defensemen all the time, that is for sure. But Barzal is having a tremendous season and gives that much more optimism to the Islanders. They can shore up their defense. They can be a real force to be reckoned with here with the number of young guys they have offensively gifted. So as I mentioned, I'm going to give you my prediction for the finalists here for who will win the Calder Trophy. Obviously right now, the way I have these players ranked, 1, 2, 3 would be my finalists. Matt Barzal, Brock Boeser, and Charlie McAvoy would be the top 3. And I would certainly give the hardware right now to Islanders forward Matt Barzal. So right now, he's my prediction for Rookie of the Year. He will win the Calder Trophy. Unless something changes here, that's my prediction. Boeser is going to be a close second because of the goal scored. But I think overall, you could argue that Barzal is the more dynamic player. And at this point, he's putting up over a point per game cushion there. I mean, there's at one point as the season's kind of gone on, Barzal's slowly pulled further ahead in my opinion, and I think he is just a tremendous upside, and the Islanders are really lucky to have him. So that's my top 10 rookies. So as I mentioned before, certainly leave some comments down below. Feel free to debate this list. As I mentioned, it's completely subjective. This is purely my opinion. I did not base all this on just on stats. Obviously, stats were factored into the equation here, but certainly some subjectivity as well. So feel free to leave some comments and debate this list. I certainly enjoy that down in the comment section. Don't forget as well to follow us on social media. You're going to see our Twitter handle on the screen right here. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, and all those accounts are linked down below in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.